Alright, continuing the video. Yeah, memory ran out and such. So I backed up a little bit, so we'll just see where we left off, kind of. But whatever. Getting tired.
Which is bullshit, Gary. It's the stupid story you cooked up to convince your little cult that everything has to die. And it has no more validity than aliens at Roswell landing.
Yeah, whatever. What doesn't have a validity? The theory that it's a replicating molecule that has no real purpose, and that well, there's not even a conversation to have with some asshole who doesn't even understand that value is created by sentient organisms. But whatever.
It's the same kind of pseudo-intellectual nonsense, and it's the same thing that causes all the...
Roswell isn't pseudo-intellectual, okay? It's wacky bullshit. And that's kind of what you're full of.
...problems in this planet. Some fruitcake charlatan idiot like you, running around making baseless claims...
Baseless claims like what? What is a baseless claim? What?
Truth and fun. So that you can try to control people's lives.
Oh, whatever. Control by what? By making an argument on the internet. Oh, I see.
And that's what exactly this is about. It has nothing to do with suffering. It has nothing to do with the world. It has everything to do with you and your narcissistic stupidity.
Yeah, whatever. This is not an argument from any authority, from any evidence, from any logic, from anything but your petty psychology. Blubber.
That is the majority of what's going on here. Period.
Yeah, whatever. So that's your science. Yeah, you're a scientist. Uh-huh.
But let the jack-off talk.
It's not an easy question to answer, but we will... Oh, please, go ahead.
You know what? This is such a petulant portion that I'm not even going to bother with it. Oh, wait. You know what? This is my favorite part. This is...
Yeah, I like this idea where, you're just going to skip over the parts you don't want to deal with.
Truly my favorite part of this. Gary is about to make yet more claims that are full of shit. But these are so embarrassingly full of shit, as we will see, as to make me laugh in the extreme.
Yeah, let's get to it.
That changing behavior is this. This is an example here of your typical ape skull. We notice the canine here. It's not a typical ape skull in the first place, okay? I mean, orangutans don't have the gigantic canine teeth.
Hello?
Orangutans don't have the giant canine teeth. You mean like this orangutan? This is a male orangutan, Gary. Notice the massive canine teeth, the diastema, the CP honing complex, the canine premolar honing complex to sharpen the tooth for sexual combat. Believe it or not, orangutans, particularly male orangutans, can be very violent.
Oh, duh. But yeah, so this is your counter argument, right? Is that all orangutans have teeth like this? No. I mean, we know that also these males, alpha males, right? It's only the alpha males that get the big giant cheeks and the whole bullshit that goes on in their whatever morphology. So again, this demonstrates what?
Also distinctive of the male. You see this? This ridge here that goes back on either side, this is called the sagittal crest. This allows for the powerful muscles that attach to the jaw to come down through the zygomatic arch, attach to the macerator and the andator muscle. I'll have to look it up. I'll correct it if I have to.
Yeah, whatever. Again, so this is a counter-argument about what? Okay, you're the one arguing that there's something called the typical ape skull. My argument is that there isn't a typical ape skull.
This is distinctive of the male. It's called
the alpha male.
sexual dimorphism. Even humans have sexual dimorphism, Gary. And the reason that we have sexual dimorphism is because humans and apes are involved in competition for mates. Here is a female chimpanzee. Notice she does not have the massive canines. She does have a slight diastema, but it's not that big.
I bet she has it, that's right.
These are Sumatran orangutans, by the way. There are two different subspecies. They cannot interbreed. So, not only have you proven once again that you're an idiot, but you have proven...
Oh, right. I'm an idiot because, what percentage of orangutans have massive canine teeth? What percentage?
And that you don't know what the hell you're talking about. By the way, if you want an idea of other sexually dimorphic traits, here we have the female gorilla. Notice the lack of size of the canine.
Well, again, we're not talking about size, are we, Blubber? No, we're not.
And here we have... Yeah, there we go. That's a male gorilla. Canine, sagittal crest, very distinctive of the male of the species.
Right. Look, fucktard, you're the guy who said a typical ape skull. You're the guy who said that, jackass. Now, all those skulls are very different, aren't they? So I guess there's not really a typical ape skull, is there? Retard.
Let's get even funnier and funkier here. Pan-troglodytes, male chimpanzee. Notice that? CP honing complex, Gary.
Yeah, and did you notice that it's not typical? That's right. So is that a typical ape skull? Are they all typical ape skulls? Yeah. See, you fail again. It's not my poor language, my poor articulation. It's yours. You're the one who was sloppy in your language, asshole.
Male. By the way, that skull you saw was in fact a chimpanzee.
Right. It was in fact not an orangutan. Yeah. Gotcha.
Just as a matter of showing the...
Well, I understand that, most orangutans are not alpha orangutans, right? They don't go through that whole morphology thing. It's only these certain orangutans, the dominant males, who do that. So most orangutans don't do that.
The nature of how big the brain difference is in humans. Human brain, chimpanzee brain. No incremental increase in intelligence, huh, Gary?
Yeah, okay, let's, again, I asked the question in the video you ignored, okay, directly. What do you think the IQ of the human being was 100,000 years ago? When he had the same brain we have now, the same brain you pointed to. When he had that brain, what was his IQ, shithead? How many points higher was it than a chimpanzee?
I believe that also. Let's see here. Even more. Macaca, Malata, that would be the rhesus monkey, orangutan, chimpanzee, human.
Yeah, they all live in different environments, exploiting different circumstances, facing different predation, blah, 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 blah.
Looks like a pretty incremental crease in my opinion.
Well, I don't know what, I think it's a silly argument. It's ludicrously silly.
What else do we have here? You know what? We will hold off on that one. Let us proceed.
Yeah, and what do you think would happen if chimpanzees or gorillas evolved to stand upright? What would happen to their skulls? Do you think something would happen to them? That they would change? Shithead?
Chimpanzees have less of canine teeth. Obviously, this is a gorilla skull.
You don't know your gorillas from an ass in a hole in the ground. Jesus Christ, you're fucking dumb.
Oh, right. I'm supposed to, as a generally educated human being, I'm supposed to know the details of skulls for the great apes. I mean, come on, silly person. It's obviously not an orangutan skull.
And look, the truth is, I had canines. Big, giant.
Yeah, so does every other human on the planet. We all have the same dental formula as all World War apes. 2123. Stopping.
Yeah, but you're not countering the argument. Again, how have I somehow committed a crime? I'm pointing out that I had canine teeth. I mean, how can it be this stupid? So let's go to 5. Ah, man, what a dumb motherfucker. So, I mean, these idiots. So it's all the same jackasses commenting on his video. I don't know why guy. I don't, why contribute to this? I mean, look who else is commenting. It's the same 4 people. The same 4 or 5 idiots. So, yeah, you're not doing your credibility any good joining them. But whatever, fuck you. It's all the response necessary. Alright, so number 5. Dun, 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 dun.
Canines.
I still got the bones here in my skull.
Gary, I seriously doubt that you have the roots from your canines in your skull.
Did I say I had the roots? No, I said I have the bone structure. I have a bulge in my skull where the canine teeth were. Idiot.
Oh, when they yank the teeth, they take the root and all. Otherwise, it could cause a secondary infection and you could die.
Yeah, again. So I'm supposed to argue something that's stupid? I did not say I still have the roots of the teeth in my skull. They pulled the teeth out. I mean, this is just so fucking stupid. I said the bone of my skull. It's right there. I can feel where the canine teeth were.
Now, since I don't have your dental records, even though I know a forensic odontologist and we could look at it and see what was really going on, I can't comment on this. But right now I can tell you that you're probably full of shit, which you've already proven you're full of shit.
Yeah, so okay. So how much you want to bet, jackass? How much money you want to put on it? I actually have the teeth somewhere. I don't know where they are. So I saved them. Big, long, giant teeth. The roots were... I was a 10-year-old kid, 11, 12, something like that. And, those teeth were over an inch long. They were big teeth.
So why should we believe you?
Right here. All right. And, one of the decisions my parents made that wasn't too good is they had them extracted when I was a kid.
Did you ever think maybe there was a good reason for it? Like your health was at risk? Not all parents do things just to annoy you.
Well, whatever. I'm not going to argue about it. I would have preferred to keep my natural teeth. They did it for aesthetic reasons, not any medically necessary reason.
Even if you had a rotten home life, the rest of us didn't. So stop bringing it up.
That's not the argument. I'll pay your professor $1,000 to critique the scientific integrity of this crap. Yeah.
We're talking about a biological process here, one you clearly don't understand.
But they were great teeth. I had great canine teeth.
I'm sure you did, Gary.
Well, you just said I didn't, asshole.
Space between the canine. This is we have the CP honing complex. That's the diastema, the gap that allows the bottom tooth to slide past this one, and the upper tooth to slide past down and sharpen the tooth. Now, this is very useful in... I don't even think that's true. Okay, I think it's just a matter of finding a place to contain the teeth in your mouth without them chewing your own face to people.
Okay, Gary, once again, everything in nature will serve a purpose.
Yeah, well, once again, asshole, the teeth are made of enamel, okay? Enamel that doesn't grow, or essentially. We don't live 40 years grinding our teeth into a point. Okay? They're not sharpening. Okay? They don't sharpen, idiot.
What possible reason would you have these massive canines in your mouth if you're not a carnivorous animal?
Oh, man, is that the point I was making? No, my point was is that they're not sharpening each other, idiot. The point I was making is the the teeth slide against each other merely to contain them in your mouth so you don't do damage to yourself. All right, it has nothing to do with sharpening teeth. And here you've just made a comment. Now you're going to start this vegetarian shit again. Carnivore. Go look up baboon, retard. You just showed us an orangutan with giant, malicious, harsh, brutal canine teeth. Okay? A vegetarian animal. And you just explained how it uses it for, for sex and dominance. So you've just explained it has nothing to do with being a carnivore, you retard. Okay, that there's other reasons to have nasty fucking teeth. Gorillas have nasty fucking teeth. Alright, vegetarian again. I mean, you're just so loose, it's preposterous. How you cannot possibly be a college-educated fuckwit.
So let's ask ourselves, what are these animals doing that humans today are not doing? First of all, we know that the male in the species of anthropoid we're discussing, that would be pongo, pan, gorilla, holobates, all the lesser and greater apes, all are sexually dimorphic. The males are larger, they have the sagittal crest, they have the diastema, they have the CP honing.
Not all the males.
Complex. Their teeth sharpen as they move past each other. For what reason?
No. Like I said, I'm not going to buy this teeth sharpening shit. Okay, you're going to have to show me some sort of paperwork on teeth sharpening. I mean, carnivores don't even have teeth sharpening.
Why would you need them, Gary? What is the one thing that these animals are doing that we are today not doing, really? At least not with our teeth. They're competing for mates. And teeth are a very formidable weapon.
Yeah, no, what they're doing is they're fighting with each other, idiot, for a lot of different reasons. Not just for mates, but for territory, idiot. Yeah.
Such. A good, strong bite from a gorilla will pretty much ruin your day.
Yeah, whatever. We're obviously not bitey organisms anymore. We did the upright thing, got smaller bone structure, so we're not biters anymore. It's not convenient to bite anymore. We're punchers and hitters and clubbers. Idiot.
Same with chimpanzees, the same with orangutans. They're all competing for mates. It is the one thing that they all have in common. Now, in order for you to disprove this, you need to come up with some scientific sources that contradict this. Now, believe it or not,
I don't have to contradict anything. You're the one claiming that it's idiotic to have any other theory, shithead.
in my Humankind Emerging book, there are 3 different competing theories, all of which have some merits, others that don't.
Oh, yeah, no, you just said I have to prove you wrong. No other theory is accurate or can be spoken. That's what you just said, shithead.
Personally, I go with this one because it makes the most sense, and because our toothed animal, as dictated in the book, is not big enough to crush nuts. In other words, it's not thick enough to crush nuts and not have adverse effects, and you certainly don't crush a nut with a canine.
And what does this have to do with something? Again, gorillas are vegetarians, orangutans are vegetarians, baboons are vegetarians.
This is what explains the dimorphic characteristics of these animals, Gary. If you want to disprove it, you gotta find some science to disprove it. We don't just go...
I'm not the one obligated to do this proving. Again, this is totally fucked-hearted. You're the one saying you can prove me wrong. You haven't done that, shithead.
Oh, right, well, you don't like it because you've never heard of it before. If we all did that in science, we'd be in major fucking trouble, especially with a guy like you running around.
Yeah, right. You're the one who's made the claims. You're the one not proving your claims. You know, you talk about moving the goalpost. You moved the goalpost. I didn't know it was my obligation to disprove your theories absolutely. I thought it was my only obligation was defend my original video, which you still haven't proven one sentence of it to be wrong.
He says, it only has anything to do with sharpening teeth.
Yeah, well, Doesn't have anything to do with sharpening your wits either, does it, buddy?
Our teeth really aren't made to be sharpened.
Not anymore. Do you understand that we lost this because there was a lack of social competition within humans?
It doesn't matter. Teeth don't sharpen. Enameled teeth are not for sharpening, idiot.
We match up with this because in Pan Paniscus, the bonobo, which has a lack of sexual dimorphism, they still have dimorphism, but it's extremely, extremely reduced.
Well, why don't you show us some skulls?
These animals engage in something called sperm competition. Instead of competing with the dominant male for mates, although there are dominant people inside those groups.
Dominant people. Yeah, that's clever.
They engage in something a little less violent. In other words, they engage in sperm competition. It is you screw as many females as humanly possible, as much as possible, to ensure that your seed is passed on. Now, interestingly enough, in order to do this, bonobo males will often share food with females, and females will share food with other females. The positive upside of this is...
Well, yeah, I'm sure chimpanzees never do that. I'm sure.
Bonobo male brings food to a female, she eats it, and then she has sex with them. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and by all counts, every human being in history, from the beginning of time till now, has been at one time or another a John, and the woman has been a prostitute.
Okay, so because bonobos did it, humans did it. Is that what you just said? Is that what you just said? Yeah, I think that's what you just said.
That's how we got here, believe it or not. And as the bonobo...
Yeah, well, I tend to say that that's your theory. Now it's your obligation to demonstrate with some evidence. Okay, I mean, really, shall I talk about what sperm whales do, and then I'll say, well, that's what we do? I mean, not even close, sorry, no sale.
Well, is the best analog we've been able to find yet for humans. Its intermembral index, its proportional size to leg length and arm length, is more in line with ours. They stand upright a lot more than chimpanzees do. In general, they're much more like us than any other animal.
Yeah, in general. I mean, we've done the whole gene mapping thing, haven't we? You know, the whole genome project bullshit, blah, 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 blah. So I guess we could figure out which one of those two primates, the chimpanzee or the bonobo, we're closer relation to, couldn't we? Genetically.
That's why we use them as the analog. And what they're showing us is contrary to what Gary thinks. And that's why he doesn't like this information so much, because it shatters the worldview he has.
Now, again, my argument in my video you still haven't touched, okay, which was if bonobos are so much different in terms of their psychology, their disposition, then why aren't they demonstrating it, okay, by being part of human culture and civilization? Why aren't they as trainable as a dog? Or at least more trainable than a chimpanzee.
3 years of research on bonobos has shown us that human beings don't have to kill each other to get along. But one thing we do need to do is screw.
Well, why don't...
As a result, competition among these animals is much reduced.
Well, why doesn't the damn video stop?
And they all tend to get along. Even in intergroups.
Fuck you, YouTube. Fuck YouTube. Yeah, well, again, so what's the analog for the statistical relationship between the number of males bonobos who die violently, you know, in a fight, for chimpanzees and for bonobos? Right? I mean, that would be the kind of statistical evidence that might mean something. I mean, these animals have been studied. We should know the attrition rates and how they die eventually. What gets them killed? And are the numbers any different for bonobos than they are for chimpanzees? How many bonobos die of old age in their little happy tree whacking off?
I could not find it here on YouTube, and if anyone has Netflix that can watch this, I will give the name of this PBS special called The Last Great Ape, where it talks about the bonobo. All this behavior is demonstrated.
Who cares? Go watch that, whatever it is, you know, wheat, frogs, and dirt, or whatever that documentary is. Guns, wheat, and I don't know. I don't remember what the fuck. It's 3 things: guns, something, something, something. But anyway, and it'll explain the human migration to you. Okay, you might get the message.
Excuse me, and the behavior that's been over is demonstrated over and over again. Sources will be linked in the logo. But by all means, Gary, please continue.
Central battles for mates and things of this nature. Humans, however, of course, we don't have.
Yes, battles for mates. What?
That was an absolutely useless statement to make, Gary. Unless you've got something to back it up, don't say it.
Never is on you.
Yeah, what'd I say, idiot?
Yeah, well, that was sort of deceptive again, because there's lots of humans that have canine teeth.
All hominids have canine teeth, Gary.
They're different. That aren't as homogenized.
They're not sexually dimorphic is the word you're looking for, Gary.
Well, regardless of what the word is I'm looking for, the point is that we are not far detached from those features, and it really doesn't make a difference, does it? Like I said, we have other tools to fight with, idiot.
But the modern human face probably has more to do with humans when they stood upright. I mean, there's lots of explanations for why we lost those teeth, and it has nothing.
We didn't really lose the teeth, they just became reduced in size. The only explanation that fits all the evidence is we were no longer engaging in that kind of competition with each other. Neil?
No, I just think it makes it... Well, I made the argument, okay? Quite obviously, we don't meet each other face to face. We're not on all fours anymore. So, yeah, we're not going to bite everything. Instead, we're going to be using our hands.
So we're cooperating along with the females. That allowed us to be more cohesive as a group, share food, and increased our survivability. Now, ultimately, the altruism that I am talking about right now is entirely selfish because it increases the survivability of the individual.
Well, there's really no point in calling it altruism, and you said altruism, but whatever. Again, what's the point of saying in the same sentence that it's ultimately selfish? Then it's not altruism, is it, jackass?
And the group. But it works.
No, it can't. It doesn't work as using the term altruism again. What's the fucking point of calling it that when it's not that?
Whether we're aggressive or not.
And what's your alternative explanation then, Gary? I expect scientifically reviewed, peer-reviewed information.
Oh, right. I tell you to go watch a boxing match.
Please have it on my desk.
Kangaroos do that, They got little tiny arms. They still fight with their arms and their feet. Yeah, they got big kind of gnarly teeth, but they fight with their feet.
On Monday, because you will be having a test.
Yes, well, I'll pay your professor $1,000 to test you on this performance.
First off, when we stood up, that changed the game, because now our hands became our signalers.
Gary, primates signal with their hands who aren't bipedal, okay?
Yeah, primates don't stand up, do they? Yeah, they spend what percentage of their time standing upright, right? So I didn't say primates don't have hands. What I said is that's what we became, that became the fixture that we used because it was right there in front of us. And maybe that's partly why we have the thummy thing.
Jesus fuck. Just talk.
We're reliant on our faces as much. Most primates meet each other.
We weren't relying on our faces as much?
As a weapon, shithead.
Are you aware that there are more muscles in chimpanzee and human faces than in any other primates?
Who cares?
Expressive for a reason. Helps communicate. It's part of communication.
Exactly, but it's not part of fighting. It's not a good tool for fighting. It really isn't, right? Especially when you have a flatter face, because now your eyes are vulnerable. If you have a thinner skull, now your brain is vulnerable. You can kind of understand that, right? We have a thinner skull, right? So now, why would we use our head as a weapon, shithead?
You can tell the distress level of an animal by the sound it makes and what its face looks like. I can tell if one of these animals is agitated or not by looking at its face.
By the sound it makes. You know, that's kind of funny. A little while ago you were saying they couldn't make any sounds at all, hardly.
Can you?
Each other on the ground, face forward.
Okay, now, this is a practical thing I'm going to express to everyone watching right now. What Gary just said is the best possible method you can use if you want to die in confronting another male animal in a primate species. Go to a gorilla pen, get inside, go to the silverback, get down and look him right in the eye like Gary is right now. I can guarantee you you're not going to walk out of there alive. That is the best possible way to make a challenge.
Exactly my point. That we don't do that anymore, do we, asshole? So that's why we don't need the aggressive fucking face.
And you don't do that with another dominant animal. Huge mistake. And most primates do not confront each other like that. You do realize that primate includes monkeys, old world.
Oh, well, we're talking about apes, aren't we? Yeah, great apes. Stupid fuck.
New World monkeys, things of this nature. It's not one just homologous group.
Well, just a minute ago you were talking about typical ape skulls. So it's not one homologous group, now all of a sudden it's not typical. Isn't that convenient?
Stopping.
Alright, moving on to number 6. This is just too fucking stupid. Alright, where's 6? This looks like poor scary Gary. I mean, all the damn stickam videos are in my way. But whatever. Oh, I'm glad they're there, I suppose. Although stickam was kind of, you know, casual. Not serious business.
Alright, so the face was really important. Our face became less important as we stood up. And we had other things to look at in the first place.
That's why we got more muscles in our face. Damn, you're right, Gary. Citation for it.
You know, I'm not going to argue the fact that we have more muscles because our face is flatter, you idiot. So, yeah, it's a little more complicated.
And, you know, definitely had the hands in each other's face now.
Really?
Yeah, and really, would you argue that I think the average person can sort of understand that we have a certain number of facial expressions that say something, that really do overtly say something. But you've got to concede that when you watch a chimpanzee or a gorilla, that they have regardless of the number of muscles in their face, they have incredibly expressive faces, right? I mean, the whole big mouth, lippy thing, all that crap that's going on their face and their brow, all right? I mean, it's just idiotic not to say that the great apes are not expression limited. They are incredibly expressive.
And that's based on what?
We were hand animals first. And our hand usually had a goddamn stick in it, okay?
No.
Yeah, the opposable thummy thing. I think that's why we have the thummy thing, because it's really good for holding things.
Tool use is very particular to certain groups in certain areas, certain places all over Africa. The most recent evidence for tool use in humans is about 2.9 million years ago at Olduvai Gorge with the Olduvai choppers found by Louis Leakey. That is the best example of stone tool technology. Now, any other tool that would have been used probably would have been something like grass or wood. It would not have been preserved in the record. However,
chimpanzees use sticks in fights. All right? They'll break branches off and use them in fights. All right? And they don't even have the great little thumb device. So this is a stupid argument. I mean, right now, there's a chimpanzee somewhere, you know, fighting in a battle, flailing a stick around. They've used a stick as a spear, all right, to kill monkeys. So, I mean, this is a stupid argument. I mean, it's quite obvious that human beings were walking around with sticks in their hands a long time ago.
Yeah, I believe that there was tool use, but the tool use was more for practical reasons. In certain chimp cultures all over Africa, you see different types of tool use. There's one group of chimps who use the hammer and anvil method to get at and to extract nuts from their shells. Another actually forms spears to hunt bush babies. Still others use, in Gombe in particular.
Yeah, right. So you're talking about how smart our ancestors were, and you're telling me they were smart enough to control fire, but not smart enough to figure out, oh, when I go to have a fight with somebody, it's really handy to have a stick in my hand. Yeah, right.
Use the grass to fish for termites.
Or to throw a rock. Yeah. That our articulate hand-eye coordination might not have something to do with the fact that throwing a rock would be kind of effective also.
Different tool-making cultures all over Africa. It is not just one group, and not all of these groups use the same tools. So, saying that we had a stick in our hand the entire time we were killing each other, there's no evidence of that.
Well, what kind of evidence is going to be left behind exactly? It's about as simple a tool as you can get. You don't have to polish it. You don't have to do anything to it. It's a fucking stick. Okay? It's not going to fossilize in our fucking hand, shithead. Oh, man, you are dumb.
At all. Period. Can't be commented on.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I really don't have to make this argument to anybody with a little bit of common sense, right? I mean, you do understand that a stick isn't made out of rock, all right? If we don't have to refine the stick, and even if we did refine the stick, there's not going to be any evidence of that refinement. We don't find the arrows or the spears that we threw at animals. We find the rock tips. We find the bone tips that were on the end of the fucking arrows. Jesus Christ.
And the reason why we probably don't have canine teeth anymore is because, guess what? The stick is mightier than the fucking tooth.
Now, how did we get from point A to B without any evidence then, Gary, huh?
Well, again, you can't always expect there to be physical evidence. If somebody kills somebody with a big block of ice, right? You're not going to find the murder weapon at the scene, are you, asshole? All right? You're going to have to go by circumstantial evidence. And it seems pretty circumstantially, well, whatever. I mean, like I said, there probably is some evidence of crushed skulls and different things that we could probably find. But, yeah, it's just logical. There, that's it. It's logic.
If we were using sticks to kill each other all of a sudden, why isn't there any pathology on the bones that we recognize as that? We recognize.
Well, I'm sorry, but guess what? The only pathology on bones we ever find is fucking pathology created by rocks smashing bones. Idiot. Our bones smashing bones.
Animal pathology, like where they were chewing on our bones after they killed us. We definitely recognize that.
Right, but you're not going to recognize... You really are this dumb, right? There just won't be any evidence. You couldn't leave any behind. You could go 100,000 years back in time, and you could go bash some humanoid to death with a stick, and try to make it so the evidence will be preserved. And you probably aren't going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to figure out anywhere to put that fucking stick or any way to how to use it on his dead corpse to leave any evidence behind that that guy got killed by a stick. You're just not going to be able to do it, shithead.
But there's no blunt force trauma. There's no sharp force trauma.
I'm sorry. That's just nonsense. I'm sorry. You're going to tell me that we don't have any evidence of humans from how far back? We only have partial skulls if you're going to go back a million years. But let's say 100,000 years ago or even 50,000 years ago, you're telling me we don't have any skulls that were crushed? Come on. Bullshit.
Why would there need to be? They didn't compete for resources.
Oh, I mean, this is just too stupid. I mean, just like the other primates, okay? I mean, the reason why, probably another failing of Cro-Magnon man was the fact that they had to have territories because they were meat eaters, all right? And so they had to keep the other families from invading their territory and killing their foods and limiting their food supply. So they were very spread out. They weren't a huge number of them through the first migration because they needed larger territories to maintain themselves. So there was certainly battles probably between clans of Cro-Magnon man. And, when our ancestors showed up, there's just no way, we are going to compete without some defense mechanisms. And probably being good little throwers of things and whappers of things were probably one of those weapons.
We shared them. That's what humans do. I know that you don't like that idea because it means that human beings actually have a better destiny than you give us.
Well, whatever. I'm not even going to argue with this nonsense, okay? This sharing thing, okay? The North American tribes did not share with each other. They killed each other. Shithead. I mean, you really are. You're too fucking stupid. And we certainly know what the Europeans did when they got to this continent. They didn't share shit.
Guess what, Gary? All you are is some idiot from New Jersey who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
Where I'm from is sort of irrelevant. So why don't you let me know where you're from, where you're going to school, so I can, solicit your professor with a $1,000 check to rate your performance in this video.
You prove that over and over again. But continue to proselytize.
The rock is mightier than the fucking tooth.
And the mind is mightier than anything you have, Gary.
Now, this is my...
Yeah, right. The mind of Adolf Hitler. Yeah, right.
Fucking adversary. Like just picking up a fucking rock and bashing a hole in his fucking skull.
Which there's no evidence of, so how...
Oh, well, again, what evidence you going to look for? Fingerprints on the rock? I mean, this is just idiotic to have to sit there and argue that you're talking about how smart these little humanoids were, and you're telling me they're not smart enough to figure out that all they have to do to stop the wolf is pick up a fucking rock and throw it at the fucker?
How can you make that claim? I expect peer-reviewed literature.
Well, again, peer-reviewed literature about what? How some events will produce no evidence? That somehow, if you stab somebody with an ice knife, there won't be any evidence? I mean, what? You need a peer-review explanation of how that reality works? Idiot. Yeah, the fossil record doesn't include fingerprints. Wow, what a surprise.
We see a gradual reduction of the canine over the span of hominid evolution. Ardipithecus has a bit of a canine complex like that. Yet the only remnant we see in Australopithecus afarensis is that the diastemus, so the little gap where the tooth should be going, is there, but it's no longer there.
It's idiotic to say it's no longer there. They still had canine teeth.
Yeah, see, so yeah, you had to make that point to me, and I actually had to make that point to you, shithead.
Yeah, they still had canine teeth, Gary. They didn't have the diastema of the CP honing complex anymore, and that's exactly what I was talking about. If you would
well, yeah, they had the same. The teeth were in the same place. They just weren't formed the same way. So of course they didn't have the resources required to contain the teeth. Oh God! But like again, I have the bone structure right there.
Listen, you would know this. Pay attention, you're being tested.
It's just stupid to say it's no longer there, because I had canine teeth.
And you misunderstand everything, you little asshole.
People are born with them.
We know, Gary.
Well, like I said, you were the one telling me the same shit until now it's revealed that I was telling you that shit. So isn't that ironic?
Formula 2, 1, 2, 3. 2 incisors, 1 canine, 2 premolars, and 3 molars. That includes the wisdom teeth. That's a formula shared by all old war monkeys.
Yeah, well, regardless, it really doesn't matter. The point is that our face changed, and it changed probably we both would agree because we started standing upright.
Get used to it. You're going to keep learning these things over and over again.
This is an inter-violence thing. This is an intersocial violence thing. His reduction suggests that...
It suggests a lot of things, and this is just bullshit research. I mean, you want to call this a draft opinion video or something, that's fine, but you're talking like this is some sort of proven fact that this is why it happened, and this is how it happened, and there's lots of explanations for why we have a reduction in the aggressive features of our face.
Which you have offered no evidence of. The reduction of the...
Well, wait, I don't have to offer evidence of it beyond the fact that it's a reasonable speculation. Again, you're not going to find... What's the... like men's beards. We could have an argument about every single aspect of our human condition and attempt to say, how did that happen? Why does it still exist? Why is it like that? And the arguments are going to be complex and circumstantial depending on how our ancestors lived and which part of our ancestors, which group of them survived to the future. But, I mean, this is, they were going in different directions. We can see it in the changes that took place in the races alone. That humans lived different and had different characteristics based on where they lived. Christ.
Canine in the CP honing complex because of a reduction in violence in the group is the only thing that fits all the evidence that we know.
Yeah, again, this isn't the argument, though, is it? Right? And what humans dominate the planet right now are not necessarily the same proportion of humanity, of the same racial composition or ancestry that did 20,000 years ago, or 50,000 years ago, or 100,000 years ago. Those proportions of the populations that have thrived or have not thrived have changed throughout the last 100,000 years.
Now, if you want to contradict that, you have got to find evidence that contradicts it. You can't just sit there and say, because I say so and it doesn't fit with what I think about it.
Again, you're the one claiming that I'm an idiot because I merely say humanoids did not use... The reason why they lost their aggressive faces is because there was no advantage to it anymore. Their face and head was no longer something they could use as a weapon. They were no longer dogs, okay? They didn't go into everything face first, and it had practical advantage. Because, yeah, your brain is your part right behind your face. And so it's probably a good idea to find some other way to face the world than with your face.
World. That's not our problem. That's your problem, Gary. Scientific peer-reviewed literature. You can't do it, don't comment on it.
Again, I'm not going to argue this kind of nonsense. And when apes fight, they don't bite each other to death. They usually beat each other to death.
It's all a favor. When you don't know something, just shut the fuck up about it. It's better to be thought a fool than to open one.
Except when they're owned by human beings, though. Because, that ape, I don't know whether he might have ripped her face off, actually. But I think he did bite part of her face off.
Now then prove it, which you continually do all throughout your life.
Besides, this bullshit.
Then let's hear it. Let's hear the explanation, Haas.
The explanation of what? Again, you're the one who is supposed to be proving that I said something that can't be, that is disprovable. You're the one claiming that you can prove me wrong. You haven't done any of that. Oh, fuck.
Reduce their social violence between one another. Now, that suggests to us that humans were not as violent as we are now.
Yeah, there's no evidence of that whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just a joke. There's that whole, whatever the guy's name is, Skinner, not Skinner. Well, anyway, he has a whole, has it all calculated, the attrition rate of human beings over time. And this is theoretically the most non-violent time. because the number of people dying violently is reduced so dramatically through civilization. I would argue that it's sort of bullshit because all you need is one good nuclear war and his statistics go to hell.
Based on what? What are you basing this on? I'm basing it on all the osteological evidence that we found. What's your evidence?
No, you didn't show me any of this evidence. Where's your evidence? Where have you cited anything? I don't see any evidence, shithead. I just see a fucking fuckwit saying you're wrong, and I don't really have to prove it. I'm just going to say it.
That's just a pile of crap.
Of course it's a pile of crap. Anything you don't agree with is a pile of crap.
Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it, realistically?
You don't offer any alternative explanation.
You're just arguing with my alternative explanation and saying it's idiotic, although you're not proving it to be so.
It's dishonest and stupid. Get your head out.
I don't know how it's dishonest. I really don't get that part.
Out of your ass and get your fucking nose in a book for a change, Gary.
We're not all that violent now, okay? We're violent in the sense that we'll get armies together and have...
We're not all that violent? Have you seen the television lately?
Well, you're an idiot now. Now you're really proving yourself to be an idiot. Yeah, there's 300 million people in the United States of America. And what percentage of those people commit an act of violence every day? I mean, it's a tiny percent.
Are you really that fucking dumb? Jesus, you're as bad as Pinker.
I don't even know what that means, but realistically, you really do understand what 300 million, that's a huge number of people. And there's millions of guns in this country. And so just realize, just think about it for a minute. I mean, you're talking about 1 in 10,000, 1 in 50,000 humans that will commit a dramatic act of violence per year.
Over politics, and we'll just direct people and point them and we'll pay them money. And so there's lots of mechanisms to oblige us to take pot shots at each other, but we're not sitting there sticking shivs in each other's guts.
Ask somebody who's been shivved in prison if they agree with that. Ask any one of the number of...
Again, so this is his argument. Can you believe he's making this kind of stupid argument? Just a few thousand years ago, most males died violently. Okay, none of them reached 5% died of a natural cause. The rest died violently. I mean, it's just undeniable that life was a lot more... The further back you go, the more violent the likelihood of your death. I mean, the more likely your death was going to be violent.
Hundreds of, maybe even thousands of people were stabbed to death every year. Or shot in the head or beaten to death with something.
Yeah, 300 million people.
You don't even think before you say these things, do you?
You don't think before you say these things, do you? You have just no concept of reality at all, do you?
Kind of Sam. Assuming nobody's going to call you on your bullshit. Those days are done, buddy. Your bird's been spun.
Yeah, well, whatever. I don't even know what that means, retard. So anyway, yeah, you're not in college. This is all a big pile of shit. I defy you to allow your professor to see your performance on YouTube.
We're not in your face doing the violence thing, and that would be a hell of a lot different.
Yeah, that's why all the crime statistics say otherwise, right?
Yeah, again, they say exactly the opposite. Most people are not a victim of crime. Yeah, most people aren't.
So we go back to the Native Americans, lots of warring tribes.
Violent crime. Sorry.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to end this particular block of videos right now because he's about to get into the nature of prehistoric warfare, and that is going to be...
Prehistoric? Is that what you're really going to call it? Prehistoric? I think we have a history.
next subject we cover. So this will be the end of this particular set of videos. I will post them immediately. They will be free for everybody to watch as soon as they're up, and I hope that everybody enjoys them. And I hope that everybody, for a change, understands exactly what's going on, as opposed to this idiot who just likes to deceive people.
Right. It's deception. Yeah. Interesting.
Good night and good luck.
Yeah, whatever that means. Yeah, like I said, this guy, I think, is a big fat faker and a sociopath and spooky. So anyway, yeah, hopefully, whatever. I don't think I'm going to be bothered with any more of his videos. Yeah, and I guess it's just a matter of just figuring out who these few people are who comment on this shit and just saying, oh, fuck these idiots. Oh, Ramillion! Yay! Let's see what he says. On his latest What the Fuck, Gary made an interesting claim that there are languages in Africa with 350-word vocabularies whose speakers use clicking noises to get the point across. I know a little about Africa and hadn't heard of this. I'm really surprised. You haven't heard of the, whatever they're called, the Nobimbis or something? I'm really surprised because they're sort of famous. I mean, the clicker people. You know what's neat about them too? I mean, they're really tall, which is, they're very statuesque. But, because of they sleep outdoors. They really don't bother with houses much. They're nomadic. But it's really, they sleep, they have to, so the bugs don't get in their ear. They sleep, with their hand over their ear, which is just kind of, well, whatever. I mean, I know it's a little thing, but can you imagine just spending your whole life having to sleep every night on your ear just to keep the bugs out of your ear? Oh, I mean, God, life sucks. But anyway, I know a little about Africa. I haven't heard of these. I'm pretty sure he's wrong. Wasn't that spooky? The clicks in some languages from Southern Africa are consonants, of course. I'm told that there is an English, whatever, Creole language in, well, I'm not, with 350 words, but the speakers would borrow vocabulary from standard English. 300 words, but the speakers would borrow vocabulary from standard English. I don't even know what that means. So, Remy, you got bullshit for information. You're completely wrong about the clicker vocabulary. And yeah, they found people, incredibly vacant languages that are used by some of these tribes. But whatever. I mean, if you don't think it's a reasonable theory that it might be possible that the reason why we have vocal cords is so we could make sounds that were loud to communicate because we were on the plains and we might have wanted to say lion, just so everybody else would know, so we could all run into a little huddle or something and all pick up a rock to throw at the lion. Is that not reasonable? That doesn't matter. Fuck. So anyway, till next time. And who cares? Again, like I said, who really cares about this fucking stuff? Oh, Great Tex had to say stuff. Great stuff. So he said great stuff to this video. I mean, you are just so dead to me, Great Tex. This was a horrible video. Conjecture and hypothesis are great. They are not proffered as absolute truth, Gary. Interesting. I didn't proffer something as an absolute truth in the video he's responding to. I didn't do that. I use phrases like, I have argued. Right? Now that's pretty humble for me, isn't it? I mean, that's pretty cautious rhetoric for me. And that's the video this fuckwit chose to respond to. Now, is it an Ephesus video? No. Is it a subject I give a rat's ass about? No. And you're going to reward this shithead. I mean, you're just such a fucking weasel. Fuck you. I mean, I hated you, but now I really, really, really hate you. Eugh.